The call of the wild horizon. Under a bruised sky that hinted at both dawn and dusk, the expedition team trudged along a barely discernible trail on the fringes of the Canadian Rockies. The air was crisp with the scent of pine and damp earth, carrying the whisper of ancient memories from this rugged land. Among the hardy souls was Thomas Reed, a lanky but resolute man whose determined gaze mirrored his inner fire. Alongside him strode Miranda Hayes, whose calm and strategic nature had earned her a reputation among those who dared explore nature's raw outskirts. Also present was Jeremy Collins, the affable yet introspective medic who viewed every bruise and every scar as a lesson learned from the unforgiving wilderness. Together, they had embarked on a journey that promised both the thrill of discovery and the daunting challenges of survival. Their venture had begun innocuously enough, a sunny morning departure from Vancouver, with the promise of charting unknown territories and mapping out a forgotten footpath that wound through dense forests and valley floors. However, the distant rumble of an unforeseen storm had already signaled that nature was always in command. As the team navigated steep slopes and swaying timberlands, the landscape unfolded with cinematic grandeur. Towering cedars and firs, their branches draped with delicate moss, intermingled with the brilliant glimmer of streams and waterfalls that cascaded over ancient rock formations. On the second day, a sudden squall took the group by surprise. Torrential rain pounded their roofs and blotted out the sun. Thomas shouted over the roar of the storm, "We need to find shelter fast." Miranda, ever the voice of calm in chaos, replied, "There's a rocky alcove just ahead, tucked behind that copse of evergreens. We can hunker there until the worst passes." As they scrambled over slick rock faces and clambered beneath heavy boughs, the team's cohesion was tested. Jeremy's apologetic chuckle broke through the tension when his foot slipped, sending him sprawling across the muddy floor. "I guess nature wants me on the ground," he joked, earning a few smiles despite the dire circumstances. The next stretch of their journey led them to the foothills of the Selkirk Mountains, where nature's palette bled vivid scarlet and blooming gold even in the waning light of a stormy afternoon. The team set up a makeshift camp near a meandering river that cut through a valley like a silver thread. Here, under the wavering canopy of a twilight sky, the group exchanged stories and plans. Thomas recounted legends his grandfather used to narrate about these very woods, tales of hidden treasures and mysterious creatures protecting ancient secrets. Miranda listened intently, her eyes reflecting both wonder and determination. "These land stories hold echoes of truth," she murmured thoughtfully, "reminding us that nature itself is a guardian of lore and legacy." Days melded into one another as the group traversed landscapes that grew ever more demanding. They trekked through the vast, rugged expanse of the Rocky Mountain foothills, where sheer cliffs towered like silent sentinels over deep ravines and glacier-carved valleys. The wind sang tunes through narrow passes, while the temperamental weather oscillated between brilliant, clear skies and sudden downpours. In one such valley near the edge of Banff National Park, the team encountered a dramatic change. The terrain was now filled with dense thickets and precipitous slopes that left little room for error. Miranda, mapping their positions on a worn paper map, softly said, "This part of the mountains always reminds me that we are mere visitors in a land that has existed long before us and will continue long after." Her words resonated profoundly in the quiet moments when every step was a dance with uncertainty. At one point, while navigating a narrow ridge that overlooked a vast glacial lake, the team paused to marvel at the breathtaking panorama. The lake, its waters tinted with the milky blue of ancient ice, stretched out like a mirror reflecting jagged peaks and wispy clouds. Jeremy broke the silence, remarking, "Sometimes, I feel the grandeur of nature is both a comfort and a challenge, a constant reminder of how small we are." Thomas quietly agreed, adding, "It's not just our strength, but our collaboration and respect for this land that will see us through." When an unexpected snowstorm descended upon the high passes, the survival challenge reached a new critical juncture. The biting cold seeped through their layers, and each step felt like an arduous battle against the elements. With temperatures plummeting, it became clear that waiting out the storm was their only option. Huddled in a narrow crevasse amidst a wall of ancient granite, the group kindled a small fire. Shadows danced on the rock walls as they shared whispered conversations and measured hopes betwixt crackling embers. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Miranda confided, "I sometimes wonder if we are chasing a folly, a quest that nature has set as a riddle for those who dare dream too boldly. Yet here, in the shroud of these mountains, I also know that this challenge refines who we are." Her gentle tone softened the hard edges of their predicament, unifying the team in shared purpose and calm determination. Their journey was punctuated by moments of remarkable camaraderie and raw honesty. One early morning, while emerging from a dense stand of fir trees near Jasper National Park, Thomas noticed a faint, rhythmic drumbeat in the distance. Intrigued, he beckoned his companions, and together they followed the sound until it led them to an isolated clearing where an aged native man, named Elijah, sat by a crackling fire. His weathered face bore the marks of countless winters, and his eyes glimmered with deep wisdom. Elijah spoke slowly yet profoundly, "You have come far, seekers. Nature tests all who wander into her realm. Surviving here is not just about withstanding the physical torment, but embracing the lessons carved into every stone, every gust of wind. Respect her ways, and she will reveal her secrets." That encounter lingered in their minds long after night gave way to daylight, a reminder of the spirit that bound all life to the timeless dance of existence. Weeks elapsed as the group ventured further into remote territories. Their path led them through the stark beauty of the Scottish Highlands during a brief diversion arranged by a local researcher, Dr. Malcolm Fraser, who specialized in ancient glacial formations. The lush, rolling hills of Glencoe provided both an escape from the relentless mountain ranges and a stark contrast to the wild terrains of the Rockies. As they walked the misty trails, the group marveled at the interplay of history and nature, the ruins of ancient stone castles hidden among heather-clad slopes, the echoing legends of clans and battles lost to time. Even here, Thomas noted in awe, the struggle of survival we face is interwoven with the tapestry of history. Our very footsteps are in step with the souls of those who once roamed these lands. Dr. Fraser, his accent rich with the cadence of centuries past, nodded sagely, "The land always speaks. You must listen, not just to its roar, but to its whisper." The journey was never without conflict. A heated discussion erupted one chilly evening when the team found themselves delayed by a landslide near the rugged edges of the Wind River Range in Wyoming. Jeremy, visibly anxious, argued, "We aren't equipped for these constant delays, and each moment away from progress puts us further into uncertainty." Miranda countered with quiet resolve, "Patience is a virtue demanded by the land itself. Rushing in recklessly only endangers us all." Their voices merged with the howl of the wind as nature itself seemed to arbitrate their dispute. Later, while gathering dry wood in the dim light of dusk, Thomas mediated, "We've come too far to allow our fears to tear us apart. Let's trust in our skills and the knowledge that every obstacle is a lesson in resilience." The tension eased, replaced by a mutually shared sense of determination. As they advanced, the natural landscapes grew ever more elaborate. In the depths of the dense Cascadian rainforest near the U.S. Canada border, life took on extraordinary vibrancy. The forest floor was adorned with ferns as ancient as time, and beneath a thick, emerald canopy, the sunlight scattered into a delicate latticework of gold and green. The steady hum of insects, the sharp call of a distant hawk, and the rustle of unseen creatures choreographed an orchestral background to the team's journey. Here, the air was perfumed with the musk of wet soil and wild blossoms, and every step unearthed a mosaic of life thriving in hidden nooks. "This is the heartbeat of the earth," Miranda whispered in reverence, "raw, untamed, and utterly magnificent." The realization stirred in them a deeper purpose, transforming survival into a true communion with nature. In one particularly memorable encounter, the group came across a small, abandoned cabin on the edge of a crystalline lake in the Adirondacks. Weathered by time and whispered secrets, the structure beckoned with the promise of refuge. Over a shared meal of foraged mushrooms, smoked fish, and wild berries meticulously gathered from the surrounding woodland, the conversation turned toward the meaning of their arduous journey. Jeremy mused, "Perhaps what we're really searching for isn't just survival, but a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in this endless cycle. Thomas, gazing thoughtfully into the dancing flames of a makeshift hearth, added, "Sometimes, the harshness of nature strips away the noise of civilization, revealing the raw essence of life." Their discourse, punctuated by heartfelt laughter and moments of reflective silence, infused each individual with a renewed sense of perseverance. The group's progress, however, was not without periodic setbacks. One late autumn day, while crossing a narrow suspension bridge over the tumultuous rapids of the Snake River near Hell's Canyon, a sudden gust of wind sent the fragile structure swaying perilously. Miranda's heart pounded as she clutched the rope tightly, while Thomas, already several paces ahead, called back, "Keep your focus, everyone, the river's fury is as wild as the storms above." The bridge creaked ominously under the strain, and for a few harrowing moments, time seemed to suspend in a balance of risk and hope. With careful steps and unwavering teamwork, they made it across, each member silently vowing to never forget that delicate dance with nature's unpredictable temperament. In the midst of this journey, the natural world repeatedly showcased its duality, breathtaking beauty intertwined with relentless adversity. The journey through the sprawling wilderness of Alaska eventually became the focal point of their expedition. In the vast emptiness of Denali's shadow, where snow-capped peaks met endless tundra, the team experienced isolation like never before. The sheer magnitude of the landscape offered both majesty and a profound sense of vulnerability. One frosty night, as auroras painted the heavens with surreal ribbons of green and violet, Jeremy confided to Thomas, "There's something humbling, almost spiritual about being surrounded by such infinite beauty. It reminds me how insignificant my worries are in the grand scheme of things." Thomas, gazing upward, replied, "And yet, in that insignificance lies our greatest strength. We adapt, we endure, and we discover parts of ourselves that comfort and terrify us in equal measure." The physical challenges gave way to inner conflicts and revelations as they approached the remote corners of the wilderness. The relentless march through adverse weather and treacherous terrains forced each of them to confront their own limitations, fears, and desires. In the stillness of a sunlit morning near the rugged cliffs of Moab in Utah, Miranda took a solitary walk along a narrow, winding trail lined with red sandstone, a reminder of nature's timeless artistry. The whisper of the wind on weathered stone evoked memories of her childhood dreams and unfulfilled promises. "It is here," she mused softly to herself, "that I find both my anxieties and my true strength intertwined." Moments like these, shared silently with the timeless earth, fortified the group's collective resolve. One unexpected twist in their journey came when they encountered a small band of local guides in the remote expanses of the Sierra Nevada. The guides, led by a pragmatic but warm-hearted man named Charles Monroe, had weathered many of the same trials for generations. Over a shared pot of strong, aromatic coffee in a rustic mountain hut, Charles explained, "The land reveals itself to those who respect its rhythm. Some days, it's an ally, and on others, it tests the fiber of your very existence. Learn its language, and you'll never truly be lost." His words, simple yet profound, resonated deeply with the travelers. As night fell and the conversation deepened over flickering lantern light, each person felt the unspoken bond of survival, a quiet recognition that every trial, every hardship, knit them closer to both the land and one another. Time blurred as seasons shifted. The once treacherous snowstorms gave way to fleeting golden autumns, during which the forest was transformed into a mosaic of burnt sienna, amber, and deep crimson. As they made a slow, deliberate descent into a secluded valley near the border of Montana and Idaho, Thomas recounted to his companions the many lessons they'd learned. "Every crest we've climbed and every ravine we've crossed has taught us something fundamental," he said, his voice steady with a calm authority born of countless hardships. Miranda, her eyes reflecting both the scars and the joys of their shared journey, added, "I've realized that survival isn't just about fighting against the odds, it's about surrendering to the process, learning from every fall, and rising again even stronger." Their dialogue, earnest and resonant, exemplified the metamorphosis that endured within each of them. At one point, a near-catastrophic misstep nearly cost them dearly. While traversing a narrow, icy ledge high above the roaring waters of the Missouri River near Glacier National Park, a loose stone sent tremors through the ground. Jeremy's heart pounded in his chest as he tightly gripped the rope that secured him to the ledge. "Steady now, is everyone okay?" he called out, voice quivering with both fear and determination. Miranda responded with calm urgency, "We're all secure, Jeremy. Just focus on your footing and trust the grip of your instincts." In that perilous moment, as icy winds cut through even the thickest layers of clothing, every second felt magnified. The experience bonded them with a silent promise to honor every life as precious, every moment a gift given freely by nature's overwhelming presence. Beyond physical dangers, the wilderness also forced the explorers to confront internal storms. Stripped of the conveniences of modern life, each member faced the stark reality of self-reliance and often, the solitude of introspection. Late one evening, while huddled together in a makeshift lean-to fashioned from layered branches near the serene banks of Lake Superior, Thomas shared a moment of regret over choices made long ago. "I've spent so much of my life chasing shortcuts and easy answers," he admitted quietly. "Yet here, amid the raw honesty of nature, I see that every moment of struggle carries with it an embedded lesson, a chance to be reborn from our own ashes." His confession, raw and unguarded, invited similar reflections from his companions. Miranda's soft reply, "Perhaps it is in our brokenness that we truly discover our strength," encapsulated the fragile beauty and gentle wisdom that the untamed wild had imparted to them. Yet, in the midst of trials and heartache, the natural world never ceased to offer moments of sublime beauty and hardening miracles. On an unexpectedly clear evening, while camped near the exploding colors of a sunset over the great sand dunes in Colorado, the sky opened up in a cataract of luminous stars. The celestial display, vast and infinite, evoked wonder and a profound sense of connectedness. As the group lay on a spread-out blanket of weathered logs, Thomas whispered, "Look at that, it's as if the heavens themselves are cheering us on, urging us towards hope and discovery." In that timeless moment, the challenges of the day were forgotten, replaced instead by a shared, unspoken belief in the transformative power of nature's majesty. The journey continued to test every limit, demanding physical endurance, emotional resilience, and an unwavering spirit of collaboration. Days bled into nights as the team navigated the serpentine trails of the Redwood National and State Parks in Northern California, a land of towering giants and hushed, ancient groves. The redwoods, their trunks stained with the deep history of centuries past, served as silent witnesses to the group's struggle and triumph. Among these colossal trees, Miranda respectfully remarked, "There is a quiet strength in these ancient beings, a reminder that time and nature move at their own measured pace. Our human haste is but a fleeting whisper in their eternal saga." Such reflections provided the team with moments of peace amid their constant battles, spiritual oases in the midst of nature's relentless cycle of challenge and renewal. With each hardship surmounted, a transformation occurred not just in their surroundings but within the explorers themselves. The natural landscapes, fiery deserts, icy peaks, uncharted forests, and expansive lakes became a vast, dynamic classroom where every rustling leaf and every shifting shadow was a mentor. In the remote valleys of the Pacific Northwest, as mists rolled over the rugged coastline and thunderheads gathered over wild, wind-battered cliffs, the group prepared for what might be their final trial. A combination of dwindling supplies, treacherous terrain, and unpredictable weather converged into a crucible of survival. In a solemn moment of resolve, Thomas declared, "We have faced nature's fury and its unparalleled beauty, and through it all, we've discovered that survival lies in unity, in the embrace of both our vulnerabilities and strengths." His words, delivered with quiet confidence, rekindled the spark of determination in each heart. The culmination of their journey arrived one fateful morning as the first light of day broke over the misty peaks of the Sierra Nevada. Having navigated an intricate maze of valleys and ridges, the team found themselves at the edge of a vast plateau overlooking a sweeping panorama of wild river canyons and boundless forests. The sight was both humbling and invigorating, a testament to their arduous trek and the indomitable force of nature. Miranda, eyes glistening with unshed tears, broke the reflective silence, This moment, it encapsulates everything we've endured. This endless landscape reminds us that every hardship has forged a pathway to renewal. Jeremy, resting his calloused hands on a rock that had witnessed centuries of change, added, and in each one of us, nature has sown resilience and wonder. No storm, no landslide can take that away. The profound collective realization hung in the crisp air, an affirmation of human perseverance in the face of nature's unfathomable splendor and might. The descent from that plateau marked not only a physical return to civilization but also the culmination of an inner odyssey. The journey had left its indelible mark on each traveler, etching their souls with the poetry of wilderness and the stark reality of survival. In the quiet moments on the final leg of their trek, as the landscapes shifted once more into familiar foothills and gentle meadows along the banks of the Columbia River in Washington state, they each carried within themselves a reverence for the earth, a respect for its unexpected wonders, and a newfound understanding of their own inner strength. It was on a cool evening in Seattle, as the city's lights blurred into soft halos beneath a twilight sky, that the team gathered one last time to reminisce about the journey that had tested every fiber of their beings. Over cups of steaming coffee in a modest cafe near the waterfront, Thomas mused, "We set out seeking adventure, and what we found was a deeper slice of life itself." Miranda nodded, her expression reflective. Life is as unpredictable as the wilderness filled with both shadows and light. Our survival was never just about outlasting the storm, it was about embracing every moment, every challenge, as a part of our evolution. Jeremy, ever the gentle soul, concluded, perhaps one day we will return to these wild places, not as seekers in need, but as kindred spirits returning home to a world that once again tested and transformed us. Their conversation, laced with laughter and tinged with bittersweet nostalgia, affirmed the undeniable truth that every end, like every beginning, was woven together in the eternal tapestry of existence. In the soft glow of that final evening, the vast and untamed wilderness that had shaped their journey receded into memory, a mosaic of mists, wild rivers, ancient forests, and rugged peaks that would forever echo within their hearts. Every arduous step, every whispered conversation with the wind, every moment of despair balanced by the brilliance of nature's boundless beauty had become part of an indelible narrative, a living testament to the resilience of the human spirit when set against the vast canvas of the earth. And so, as the expedition came to its close and the team disbanded into the fabric of everyday life, they carried with them a quiet certainty that survival was not defined solely by the trophies one might claim nor by the accolades of reaching a destination but by the journey itself, by the lessons whispered by ancient mountains and the silent promises of endless skies. Their tale, woven from moments of triumph and despair, joy and loss, was a reminder that the wild world holds infinite chapters waiting to be read by those brave enough to listen, to endure, and to surrender to the call of the wild horizon. This is a fictional tale and not based on actual events. If you enjoyed the story, subscribe to my channel, like, and check the description to see how you can support my work.